most owners, when they try to do that, someone's going to come in and they're going to tell them, oh, we're going to show you this magic bullet that you're going to be able to sit on the beach for all your time and look at something. It doesn't work that way. No, that's just BS. Doesn't do that. The thing you can do, though, is you can significantly change your allocation of time.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Practical Wealth Show. So today, we're trying to help you grow your money and help you become and remain financially free. And so today I have Damon Pistulka of Exit Your Way and the host of the Faces of Business podcast as my guest. And I had the pleasure and the privilege of being on his show a few weeks ago. And I think the conversation was so fascinating. I wanted to talk to y'all because y'all know, so let me just give it a little frame for this for Damon and for you guys, so we teach people how to be the bank, right? That's a saving strategy, right? And so investing, there's really 4 asset classes: business, real estate, paper, and commodities. So if you haven't heard my story, I'm a second generation business owner. So my favorite asset class is business. Okay. So I think the fastest path to cash is business. So, Damon just gave you some fascinating stories that I want you to all see yourselves as business people. Some of y'all actually are in a business. How do you exit it? How do you build it so you can exit it? And if you don't want to exit it, okay. And how can you maximize on your number one asset to create wealth or generational wealth for your family? So this is kind of the frame I want y'all to think about what you're going to hear today. Damon, welcome to the Practical Wealth Show.
Oh, thanks for having me here today, Curtis.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Tell them about yourself. Tell them what I didn't tell them.
All right. So I'm a Midwest kid, grew up on a farm, lots of kids, lots of work. And we went to school for engineering, ended up working in manufacturing, running manufacturing companies. And ultimately, I ran a bunch of manufacturing companies for investor owners later in my career. About the last 15 years, though, I've been helping people, really focusing on doing the same kind of things I was doing for those investors running the companies, helping build value and buy and sell businesses. And specifically now I help, most of my work is towards founders building and scaling their businesses. And if they're ready, when they're ready, we'll sell them. Okay. So generating that wealth, doing like you're saying, using that business to create the wealth, they really can make a difference in their lives and for generations too, not just their current life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. So let's jump in. What's I guess, so tell them a little about what you're doing now, because I think that will, or more about what you're doing now and how you're helping them do that. And really, how are you getting them into the mind frame of, okay, this is how I looked at my business, but this is how they should begin to look at their business to exit. Right.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I didn't learn until I worked for investment owners is that, like you talk about a lot, you say your business is an asset and that asset should be generating returns, right? And we really, that is drilled in your head when you're doing it for investment owners. It's like, listen, we're worth this much today. We're making this much return on our money with our profitability now. We got to be worth this much tomorrow when we get ready to sell, because they have we have a time horizon for our investment, and then we have to reinvest that money in other things. So during that time, you really are focused on, am I increasing the net value of my business? And that comes from working on profitability, efficiencies, and other things that can really, and sales growth and all those kind of things. Mm-hmm. So what I help people now do, because most of us get into business, we're good at something, right? I'm a great plumber. So, hey, I'm buying a truck, I'm getting licensed, I'm getting bonded, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be a plumber. Next thing you know, I got 5 plumbers that are working for me, and I'm sitting here and I'm making a decent living, but I may still be really involved in this business to the point that if I fell over tomorrow, it's not going to be worth a lot. And that's the caveat that most of us get into, is that we get into business because we're really good at something. But if we want to create a business that will truly generate wealth for us, that business can't really depend on us much at all.
Right.
So, and this is what we really help people to understand. And when you start to look at this, it's not big businesses that has to do this. It really is, do I have my business structured right so that someone else could step into my place if we needed to, and the business would continue to go? And that's the basis for all we do, really, is looking at the value of your business today. Is it generating the wealth for you that you want? And if not, what are we going to do to get there?
I love that. So is there a framework? This is step one. This is step two.
Yeah.
This that you think through as you help people do this.
Can
you share a few things around that?
There are a lot of people that talk about different frameworks that you can use. We use some of what people call EOS, or people know the book Traction, right? That's one of the things, because we really do. You assess where you're at. You understand where you need to go, and where you need to go is not my pulling a rabbit out of a hat and pulling some number out of the air, right? It's talking to someone like yourself, Curtis, and saying, listen, this is a lifestyle I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
This is the wealth I need. This wealth is either going to come from my business, other pieces of my portfolio, however you do that. But we know that for most business owners, their business is going to be the vast majority of their assets, at least in the beginning. And what we really have to concentrate on is getting as quickly as possible past replacing a wage into generating wealth, because most people get stuck at replacing a wage, but they forget about that piece that they need to add on to it to really generate wealth. And that generating wealth with their business helps them, to increase the value of the business, diversify their investments to other things in the portfolio. I might buy the land that my business is on. I might do other real estate investments. I might do some other kind of investments. We don't mess with investments at all. We just want to have our clients so they know that when we get our business to this value, and what we're doing with the current profits over the next X years, I'm going to have my investments diversified enough that I'm going to have a nice portfolio.
Right.
And that could include that they want to have trust set up for their kids, whatever the heck they're going to do, right? It doesn't matter, because we see where we're at today. Then by working with someone like yourself in the financial planning world and really getting that laid out, so I've got a good diverse portfolio that's going to allow me to do whatever it is next, because most of our clients are honestly less than 55 years old, because they have a distinct path for their life, and it's generate wealth with this business. And then it could be start a foundation. It could be doing another business. It could be whatever they want, but they really know that, as you said before, that their business is their best and probably their fastest way to generate wealth.
That's critical, because what we found is success leaves clues. Like if you ever read the Rich Dad, like one of my favorite books is Rich Dad's Guide to Investing.
Yep.
And The Millionaire Next Door, because when he surveyed these millionaires, people see all these people on Instagram and in front of their mansions on boats. That's not who they are. They're the muffler guy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the unsexy plumbers, contractors, whatever.
100%.
And they work. Most of their business is not from, because they say, what percentage do you give credit for? He is in a book, he says stockbroker, but today's term will be wealth manager.
Yeah.
What credit do you give them for your wealth? It's like the number was like 11%. Like it wasn't from you buying stocks or equity. Yeah. They might hold some of the equities, but that's not where it's created. They mostly, what I've broken down is they build businesses and they buy real estate, right? And so investing. So when I hear investing, we talk about so the engine is the driver that's generating the money, right? And then an investment should be so I'm paraphrasing some of Ben Graham's, which is Warren Buffett's mentor's term. Something you put your capital into upon thorough investigation. We have safety of principle and a reasonable opportunity to make a profit. So I heard another advisor say this. So I'm changing it a little bit where you're putting money out with the opportunity to make a profit through interest, dividends, and rents, right? Or profits from other business activities that you're buying. And investing in what you we go back, Damon, our 3 rules of investing: invest in what you know, invest in what you can control.
Yep.
Don't chase return. And so do you see that kind of thought process in the people that you work with that are successful?
Yeah, definitely. When I talk about investing and working with the wealth managers, right? Most successful business owners that I work with, they've generated their wealth with the business. Yeah. But they take pieces of that wealth in excess profits or intentionally moving it to other areas to diversify, because we all have business ups and downs. And there's nothing worse than seeing a business thrive and, the owner's got, all the toys in the world and great house and everything. And you find it's a house of cards when the business goes down. We saw that in 2009 and stuff when the real estate went to heck. It's happened multiple times, but really you need to be generating that wealth with your business, because as you said before, I agree completely. It's probably your best place to generate wealth the fastest if you intentionally do it. And that's what we really concentrate on with our clients, is like, how do we do this? And when we do it, we do it through a combination of you're going to grow organically. We have to get a good sales engine. We have to be efficient and good with the products and services delivered. But then we also look at, do we want to make strategic acquisitions, buying other competitors regionally, which is what we typically are doing to help say, I'm a good plumber in the region. I've been here a long time. There's 25 plumbers around me, and I know 17 of them are in their 60s and they are looking to go out the door. I'm going to start talking to them, because in those kind of relationships, I usually, coming in as the buyer, I'm helping them by giving them a good solid offer for their business. And I'm keeping that business in the community, because I love helping communities grow and seeing these kind of businesses work together to continue the legacy of all these founders and really help these younger people build and scale their businesses as well. And the people stay employed in the communities. And this to me is so much better than what we see in the private equity world, where you just got buying and selling based on a financial basis, because there is so much opportunity for these small business owners within their communities to help their friends and competitors that they've seen at the Chamber of Commerce, that they've high-fived when each of them got great jobs, and they've competed against each other. They know they both do good work. There is just absolutely nothing cooler than seeing them being able to work out a deal that, Steve was able to walk away from his business happy, head held high, nice legacy going forward. And now Susan, who took over that business in her existing business and put it together, is launching that and going forward as well, even stronger. That these kind of ways that we can help people grow their business make a significant difference, because now we're talking about exponential or stepwise growth in generating profits for themselves and their businesses and helping their community. But the businesses are the heart of wealth. And when we look at it, we can all look at the stock market or anything like that. But man, the numbers. This is not business was really created on the business down the street. It's the 25 or less employee business that's, they're working it out. They might have $1 million or $2 million in revenue, and they're just doing a good business. And that's what our country was built on. That's what we need to keep working with. And there's such an opportunity for those business owners that they may not see in front of them to really continue that work to build the wealth that they want for multiple generations.
I think that, or I've even with me at that's a like within. I think I interviewed somebody a couple of years ago, and it just didn't occur to me that you could buy somebody else's business. You know, I
Oh
was
yeah.
talking to a young guy who has like a nice business, has some good contract. He's like 35, 36. And so this might have been on the heels of our conversation, right?
Uh-huh.
And I said, you could buy other business. He says, it's funny you should say that because he's got an older guy that he says, I remind him of him. He's, pushing 70,
Yeah.
and I says, you should talk to him and make him an offer. A lot of times you can do it with now. Because the thing is, people think I don't have $10 million or whatever it's going to be. What's that thought process around? But see, the thing is now he's thinking about it, right? So you get what you think about. You find what you look for. So now I'm thinking about it now after, and so, but where do they start?
Well, you really start with that conversation, first of all, because that person that is older there, like you said, 70-year-old person, you have to ask them what are they thinking, because they may not be educated in how difficult it actually is to sell a business. And this is, don't take my word for it. Just get on Google and search and see how successful it is to sell a small business. And it's like 20 to 25%, depending upon success rate. Right. So it's hard, first of all. But when you're talking about what you can do as that younger person reaching out to the older person and having that conversation, it's a completely different conversation, because it's not some random person that says that, you're trying to put this on the market and trying to sell it, all that kind of stuff. It's somebody that's in the industry, that knows the market well, that knows that kind of business, that can overlook maybe some things that other people from the outside can't. And then from the older person that's selling the business and the buyer, the older person has seen this younger person run this business for a while. They probably trust them, know they got a good business, so they got a good name. So when you look at that, when people like we do start helping and putting these deals together, you can craft a deal that's much more advantageous for the seller and the buyer, because we use a lot of seller financing in this. Because you don't need the $10 million down, or most of these transactions, let's be honest, most of these transactions are going to be less than $1.5 million or $2 million, sometimes like that. So really, you can look at these things and they might only take them $100,000 to do a deal.
Wow.
And then they're going to pay over the next 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever you agree, because there's this comfort level, right? It's like, yes, we've been doing business alongside, and I will do that with you because I know my business is staying in the community. I've seen how you run, and I can overlook a lot of things that I won't have to fix or change or going down the road with others. But because of seller financing, they'll get another 20% in value, because you can pay a lot more if you seller finance like that. If I'm a buyer,
right.
And then when you look at it from the buyer standpoint, I get much better terms, which is real important to me, because I have to come into that business and now I'm going to have to fund growth. I'm going to have to do all the integration and all that kind of stuff. But wow, when these things go and they work, it's so cool. I mean, because how many times, and we don't see a lot of this, honestly, because private equity has gotten really good at hiding this, but go down and look 5 years ago at your HVAC companies that are operating in your town. And then look now, there's probably, half, and they're all much bigger because of the roll-ups that they're doing.
Right.
But when you look at this and you look at somebody that does this that's a local person that does this on a regional basis with their other competitors they've known forever, one of the things that we really see that's really interesting then when they come to the exit. So now I'm this young person and I've been doing this, and now I come to the exit. I can build a business that's big enough that I can exit with an ESOP, which is great way. There's a whole bunch of tax stuff. I don't know anything about it, know very little, but I other than what we deal with and when we help people do this. because then I get even more tax advantages as I roll through and do that ESOP when I exit my business. But I also keep the ownership within the community and the employees after that. I mean, because you want to talk about building a legacy of businesses that is really, truly community or regionally based. There's a huge opportunity for us as baby boomers and Gen Xers move out of businesses now, for younger owners to be building these regional businesses and turning them into regional wealth generation. Because once that younger owner has gone through this phase and they get out and they've generated their wealth, they will stay with that ESOP organization typically for a while. All those employees benefit so much because now that ESOP organization, they are actually all owners and they continue to generate wealth. So
let's back up, because tell them what an ESOP is, because we're talking about it. I heard of it before.
Yeah.
You telling me, and then you gave Ashley at it because I didn't know what it was. Like, what is that? Because employees aren't owners, right? So when I hear it, oh, the workers are going to take over the business, my mind goes to Russia. I mean, I'm thinking John, so I'm thinking of a whole different thing, labor, everything, so to break down what an ESOP is.
And I'll just say employee ownership doesn't mean employees run the business. You still have an executive management team that you will, and the business owner needs to stay on and run the business for a period of time. And, it's all really well controlled in that case. And usually these businesses, as they transition to employee owned businesses, their profits go up and some other things, but there's some real significant tax advantages because these businesses don't pay any federal or state income tax.
Wow.
Now, right. No, I might be a little bit off on this, but when you think about that, if I'm an owner of a business and I switch from last year, I made $1 million in my business and I have to pay whatever it is, 25%, or just say it to income taxes somewhere, that's $250,000 that if I don't take that out of the business next year, I don't have to pay taxes on that, and I reinvest that in the business for growth and other things. It makes a big difference.
Right.
So it's this whole process, it comes back to younger business owners in these different areas have a huge opportunity right now, both to really work on their business to generate wealth, but then look around them to make these acquisitions, these strategic acquisitions of their friendly competitors, and really benefit their community, their friendly competitors, and themselves over time.
I love that. And it's just a matter of making friends are not necessarily your mortal enemy. All right. So like I might think sometimes, and have collaboration, and then just because one of the things I notice is that, or I've heard, is that they would like, the main thing they want to do is their workers are like family.
Yeah.
Where private equity would probably fire all of them.
Yeah. They don't care.
Or most of them, they don't care, because it's all about the EBITDA and it's all about profits. Yeah. And I like profits, guys. So you all know me, I'm a capitalist. But the thing is, you can do well and do good at the same time.
Yes.
And that's what we're talking about here. And so just being in the community, listening, probably I would say get to know the people that advise them, accountants, CPAs or business coaches or people like that. Like how would you generate leads for something like that?
I would just talk to my competitors. I mean, it's literally, we've got a client that does it really well. I mean, he just says, like you just said, I'm out making friends all the time. He's talking to people all the time. He says, what are you going to do with your business? You're getting up there. Are you going to continue to run along? What do you really want to do? And if they start talking about, well, I've been thinking about selling it, or, going to give it whatever, it's really, then you go, well, would you be interested in me taking a look? We can sign an NDA, we can do all this and get it. And, because I'm doing this, I'm doing it with other businesses but the one thing you do have to, if you're going to approach somebody like that, be prepared to tell them why you want to do it, because you said it, their employees are like family. they put their blood, sweat, and tears in that business, just like you're doing in yours now. If I'm that younger owner, they want to know that you're going to put that business is going into the best hands possible.
Right.
And if you can articulate that story right at the beginning, that's a great start to that.
Yeah. Because most times your kids don't, because we have not trained our kids.
Yeah.
They want to go to school and be a therapist. They don't want to, take over. Like my dad always told me, you're never making money work for somebody else. So I never, we had a supermarket. I didn't like supermarket business, but I was like, well, okay, I guess we're going to have a chain then. Cause we're going to, I remember I was like 14. I remember having this dream with the store was called Maze Market. And I remember seeing, it was like a dream, but I still have a picture of a map with little dots on a USA map with me on my jet checking on the locations. Now that didn't happen, but at 14, I had that vision. I was like, we're going to do this. I'm not going to get up and go to a store every day. We're going to build this thing out.
Yeah.
And I think that you got to have a vision of growth. But let me go back. So it's two ways. We talk about replacing wages and creating generational wealth, right? And so a business, and one of the things you help them do is one, how to grow sales organically. I would say marketing and sales in that order, right? Marketing so you can sell, and then acquisition of other local business friendly competition. Was there a 3?
Well, I mean, the third part of it is really looking at how you're utilizing technology and other things to get your efficiency. And I mean, that's a huge driver, because that affects you from day one and affects you as you scale so much, right? Because we often don't, we look at things like, how are we growing? Do we have enough sales? Do we have the right marketing? But we really don't go back and look at, hey, we've always done business like this, and now we're double the size. And is this really hurting us? And should we change the way we're doing business? I mean, we've seen where, with technology, you can be sitting here today thinking, without technology, you can be sitting here today and like a customer service kind of thing. We ain't gonna need 5 more customer service people or something like that. That it's just that it's because we're getting bigger and all this kind of stuff. When you look at it and you go, okay, let's look at technologies, let's look at other ways. And you might say, well, we can do it with the same amount of people if we use these different technologies to help our customers get their answers they need, or something like that, to really go like that, so that it helps with 2 things. We've been in an employee shortage for how long now, and it's not going to get any better. And second of all, that efficiency just continues to help you as your business grows.
Yeah, I mean, that's like when we talk about what's the best investment in the business, that's a way to invest in retention, in better service, which helps retention, in upselling, cross-selling, selling additional stuff, which goes back to I heard Jay Abraham say this, buying a competitor or looking downstream, where they get before they work with you or after, maybe you can buy them or do a strategic alliance with them. And so a lot of times we're just, I got this money, let me just put it in a SEP, and we're putting money in a straitjacket, whereas you're not strategic, right? And sometimes to be strategic, one of the things I learned is if you want to make more money, you got to double your time off, and so that you can think and do less, so that if you're the head of the thing, you need to be the visionary, the strategic, person, but you have to allow space for that. That's what I'm finding. I have to try. I just want to double like I'm rereading 10x is easier than 2x. And I have to eliminate 80% of things I'm doing and focus on the top 20 things that really drive growth. And I think that leaders, we just want to work harder and make the donuts, right? We just get in and we want to work harder and have our head down. And then there's a lot of stuff, especially if they're older on the technology stuff, they're just too tired. They don't understand it. They don't know how to do computers. They don't know how to track inventory better, or do marketing, or, what's a funnel, with all that kind of stuff.
And that's the thing that we really help. One of the things that we do with our executive coaching part is we really help understand that.
Yeah.
Because most of our clients, after they work with us a while, are really, I mean, they're still involved in the business. They're working in the businesses. They're doing the things they need to do, but they don't need to be there. I mean, we've got a couple clients that, they might spend 16 hours in the office in a week. They're available outside of that, but they're always talking in industry things. They're working on other stuff. It's really about, like you said, that visionary long-term stuff that you need that time away and that time to interface with other people to really see where are we going. Because you, at a certain point, you as that owner need to get out in front of that business, because you've got other people that are actually bringing the business along behind you like you want. Right. And that's where we help to focus, is getting that team in there and getting that business really operating so that I can stand out there ahead of the business and I'm getting the information I need to know that that's running right and that my team is working right. And I've empowered them to do what they need to do. And we get this relationship down, because most owners, when they try to do that, someone's going to come in and they're going to tell them, oh, we're going to show you this magic bullet that you're going to be able to sit on the beach for all your time and look at something. It doesn't work that way. No, that's just BS. That just doesn't do that. The thing you can do, though, is you can significantly change your allocation of time. Because that allocation, like you brought up the very important point, I can be that visionary. You can be that person out in front. You still have to be available for your business if needed on an emergency. There's still going to be those kind of things. But in that visionary role, the value you can provide to that business is in the stratosphere compared to if I'm doing operational work. Right. It's whatever it is in the business. And you really can't keep that value growing if you don't make that shift. And that's where most business owners struggle, because they'll go and try to make that shift, but they don't have everything set up, the team and roles and all that stuff behind them. And then the business will falter and they'll go, oh, see, I tried that. I can't do that anymore. I got to go back in here. And really you got to intentionally put the right foundation in so you can build on it.
I love that. Anything else because I want you to do two things. I want you to tell them what you do and how they can work with you, follow you, find out more what you're doing, the show and everything. But before I ask that, before you say that, anything I'll make sure I didn't cut you off, or anything you want to say that I didn't ask?
No, I think I'm just honored as heck to be able to talk with you, man, because I enjoy our conversations. I enjoy your approach to generating wealth and helping people. I mean, and I think, as you said, we all have a gift. We don't know what it is at first, but when we find it, we need to get behind it and dig into it and really get with that. And that to me rolls into, who I am and what I do and what we do in our company. I found this when I was in my mid 30s, that there is one thing I love more than any other work I could do. And that is getting to know a business owner and standing alongside them like this partner that they want to have, that will put their back into their business and help them with that to achieve their goals. And my specialty and our specialty in our company is really around how do we get this business generating the wealth that they want and helping them get there. And it's through execution. I mean, that underlying in what we do is execution, because everybody can talk and throw a good plan together. But like so many people have said, once the battle starts, the plan goes to hell, right? Right. And that's where we really step in, because you have to make this consistent progress on a daily basis to march toward your goals. And that's where we really excel with our clients. It's like, hey, we meet with our clients no less than weekly. And we have performance metrics, and we're helping them. We're working with them, their team, the whole thing, to make sure that we're moving that business forward to achieve their goals. Because we typically, when we're sitting down, we say, okay, Curtis, you're here today. You said you wanted to be here in 3 years, and this is what we're going to do in 3 years. So this is the path that we've got to go on. And we know there's going to be ups and downs. So we got to get going. And that's what we do. So we help people scale their businesses and prepare them for sell and sell them when they're ready.
Okay. So how can if they're thinking about that, what should they do? Tell them where to go, or what should they do?
they can go to our Exit Your Way website. It's
Mhm.
exityourway.com. We've got a resource center there. It's got a whole bunch of free downloads. They can do that kind of stuff. And then if they want to, they can reach out to me on LinkedIn or just, our website's got contact forms all over it. You just do that and I'll get a hold of them, and we can do that. But they can follow me on LinkedIn. I post a lot. I'm a goofy dude, right? Like I said, my thing is helping people with this. I realize that this is my gift.
Mm-hmm.
And I share freely. I don't care. I'll tell everybody 100% of what I know. I mean, because it's, as we said, it's, some people are going to be able to execute it and great, go do it. And there's other people that are going to need help. And that's what we do. We help the people that need the help.
I love it. I love it. So I have, my head is exploding because I got these things on my mind, but I'm gonna kind of leave it because there's stuff we can talk, because it's always good to come back to this stuff, going deeper into an ESOP, or grow, how do you talk about growing sales organically? I love that conversation, right?
Yeah.
And how to use efficient technology. How do you, because it's like, if you see your business like a little hedge fund, you take it apart. So while you're looking at other things, it's like you've got a bunch of profit centers in there that you're not taking advantage of because you're so busy, to quote an old Dunkin' Donuts commercial, making the donuts, right? And not seeing the forest through the trees. So hopefully, guys, that you're seeing that, slow down and think. I don't care if you have a director with Mary Kay. You got a business, you got database, you got whatever. Your business is business. Your family is a business. And you should be thinking about how you can grow what's coming into your personal economy. Could you acquire a business or a franchise or whatever? So you should be thinking about growth. Your number one investment is in production, okay, which is mindset, skill set, network,
Those
right?
are the big ones.
So Damon, thank you so much. This is Damon from Exit Your Way and the Faces of Business podcast. Thank you for joining us. And guys, thank you if you like this, leave us a review.
There you go.
And leave us a review, share it. If you hear somebody, if you hear this, you think, oh, I got Joe here, needs to hear this, send it to him, please. Okay. And you want to get this message out. Damon, thanks again. Guys, have a fantastic day.
Thanks for having me, Curtis.
All right. Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Hi there. I'm Curtis May, and I'm here to help you achieve your financial goals. Do you want to be the customer bank, or would you like to be the bank? Subscribe to our channel for regular updates, valuable insights from experts in different fields. The name of the game, guys, is cash flow. Okay. You can't eat equity. And our goal is to help you build, we call it being a cash flownaire, which is passive income twice your expenses outside of Wall Street, where possible, right? It is quite possible. And so if you're interested in learning more about our services, here is what I challenge you to do, or I invite you to do, I won't say challenge, is to take our financial freedom quiz. See where you are, okay? Don't wait any longer to take control of your financial future. Let's begin this journey together.